Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. In today's video I'm going to go over a science-themed weekend for the Catalog Flashback series. So yeah, I'll start it. So if you don't know what the Catalog Flashback series is, it's pretty much a series where I go over a past catalog update, event, or release of items just for nostalgia's sake, because I think it's fun to look back at some of the things that happened in the past and how they have changed to today. So right over here I'm going to go over a weekend in August of 2017 where they actually released a bunch of science-themed items. And back then Roblox used to have a release of new items every weekend with a specific theme. Of course, now they don't do that because they have UGC instead, but before they used to make their own items. And this was a science-themed weekend, and we did get a couple new science-related items here. So the first item that released for this weekend was the Future Cycle, which released for 500 Robux, and it released as a regular item. We did also get the Space Tie, which released for 30 Robux as a regular on-sale item as well. And we did also get the Cool Blonde Scientist, which released for 100 Robux as a regular item. So over here, the Future Cycle, this is actually a pretty interesting item. It does look pretty good. It's a well-made looking kind of motorcycle, but obviously a futuristic version here. It doesn't seem to be the most popular thing in the world, but I think it's definitely a nice release from Roblox, and it's priced similarly to how most of the gears are. So definitely not too bad in terms of appearance. Of course, there's not that much usage in games, given the gears are not used anymore, so not really the most useful one in the world, but still looks pretty cool if you do wear it on your profile over there. Next up over here, we do have the Space Tie, which is pretty much a black background with a bunch of different planets on the side over here to give off that space vibe. So that's a pretty interesting item. It is a pretty simplistic item, which is why it did not release for that much. It did release for 30, but it's right now available for the price floor for neck items, so it is available for a little bit more than it originally released for. Once again, not the most popular thing in the world, but due to how cheap it was, it definitely got quite a few owners. So not a bad new item here to have been released for this little weekend. And then next up right over here, we do have the Cool Blonde Scientist. This is also another item that is still available here today for purchase for the original price of 100. It's a pretty cool looking item. It is actually a retexture of this regular Cool Scientist item, which is still on sale as well. And there are also some other variants that were obtainable at some points as well. So this definitely isn't the most original or unique item, but it's still pretty nice retexture here. I think the color of the shades look pretty nice and the hair matches well with it. So definitely a pretty cool one. And I always like these items that are not just the hair itself and they always have matching accessory. I think those are fun additions. So it was a nice retexture to have released for this weekend and we can still purchase today. Now the next new items were the Stylish Scientist Fedora, which released for the price of 500 Robux and it is still on sale today. They did also release the Orbiting Satellite here for 300 Robux, which is also still on sale today. And they did also release the Head in a Test Tube for 200 Robux, which is also once again still available today. So right over here we do have the Stylish Scientist Fedora. It is on sale for 500 Robux, so a pretty moderately priced fedora item. It doesn't look too bad. The actual fedora is pretty nice. It's a pretty simple design, but it has these nice little cylinders here to fit the science theme, which look pretty nice, add some more color to it, so definitely not too bad. Not the most popular thing in the world, but it is still available as a pretty unique looking fedora here, so not a bad one to have been released for this weekend. Next up over here, Orbiting Satellite. Once again, this one is still on sale for 300 Robux. It is actually a hat accessory, so if you do wear it, it goes right over there on the character, so it was definitely a pretty cool one to have been released during this weekend, and it actually looks pretty well made, a nice design to it, so overall a nice addition to this little science themed weekend here. And the next one here, Head in a Test Tube. This one is actually probably the most popular one to have been released from this weekend, over 15,000 favorites, so definitely did pretty well. It is still available here for purchase for 200 Robux, which it released for originally, so definitely a nice item here for this weekend. It's a pretty creative item by having a little character stuck inside it, so a pretty unique item there, and it also looks pretty funny on the character, so not a bad one to have been released, and one you can still purchase today. And the last two items for this weekend were the Giant Magnet, which released for the price of 400 Robux and is still on sale, as well as the Failed Science Experiment, which released for 300 Robux and is also still on sale. So over here, Giant Magnet, this is pretty much just a magnet, nothing special in terms of appearance, but it does have a pretty fun usage in game if you do find a game that works with gears, as you can drag people towards your location. So it's a pretty unique usage in games, but of course gears are not usable in games much anymore, which is pretty unfortunate as you won't really find a use for this one. But still, you can definitely make a nice outfit wearing it on your profile, so a decent item here, but unfortunately not in use much anymore, given that it is a gear item. And the last one right over here, a Failed Science Experiment. This kind of looks like hair almost, but it is this kind of spill that goes over the head, so it's a pretty interesting item, very underrated, having only a little bit over 1,000 favorites. So a lot of these items are actually very underrated in general, and we see that with the favorite counts of these, but that's how it looks like in the character. You can see it kind of just sits on top of the head right over there, so I think you could definitely make a nice outfit with this one and a definitely pretty interesting one, but it might be hidden if you do wear something like a top hat or any bigger hat accessory that might cover the top of the head, which is likely why it didn't do as well. So that was the science themed weekend of August in 2017. It was a pretty alright weekend, mostly just new items here, nothing much else really happened, and a lot of the items are not as desirable in the general community, which is pretty unfortunate as I think a lot of them actually look pretty nice and you could definitely make very unique outfits with them. But if you do want to get any of these and you had never heard of them before, they are all still available for purchase today, almost a decade later, so definitely not too bad and a nice release of new items there. But yeah, that is pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and I will see you guys next time. Bye!